Morning students, how are you? You are very busy with your studies, I hope, and I welcome you all for this English class of today. Now we are a little busy with finishing the portions, so directly I wanted you to come to the class. Right? In the last class, the non-detailed, first unit non-detailed, we are just completing it towards the end we are, right? Now, I hope you might have read the story in the textbook and understood the further details, and you are very thorough with it. I hope so. And if you have any doubt regarding this, you can just ask me and clear off your doubts, right? And the question pattern of this supplementary reader is, you are asked to write a paragraph about something, that prose, that non-detailed portion. That is one thing. For 5 marks it is. Write a paragraph on forgiveness is the best form of revenge. Substantiate your statement with reference to the story, God sees the truth but waits, or something like that. The second one is, who said these words to whom? So based on these 2 things, you must prepare this lesson. Hope you understand, children. Now, in the last class, that Marcus Simonich was just kneeling before Acchino and asking for forgiveness. And Acchino said, you have tortured me and I have been in this jail, prison for this that past 26 long years, and now you are asking one word, forgiveness. Very easily you could ask this, he said. And even talking like this, after this also, Margar is not ready to get up from the place. And he was kneeling before him, and he just said, when the prisoners were just flogging me with the whip, I did not feel the pain of it as I am feeling it now. Because when I see you in this position, in this condition, I could not withstand it. I feel that flogging is better than the seeing you at present. For Christ's sake, please forgive me, he asked. And he said that, he confessed that I am a wretch, I am a crooked person, I am a wicked person, I am an evil person, he said. And he started to cry. Hearing these words of this marker, Acchino also started weeping. He said, God will forgive you. God will forgive you. Maybe I am 100 times worse than you. I am a sinner, maybe I am a sinner worse than you. So when Acchino pronounced this word, his heart became light. And the thought of going home left him. So he no longer wished to go to his home. He wanted to be in the prison. And now Acchino has forgiven Margar, and he wanted to be in the prison, and he is counting the last days of him. And in spite of what Acchino said, Margar confessed his guilt and made arrangements to the authorities of the prison to release this Acchino. And the order is just passed to the prison authorities that Acchino can be released from the prison. But by the time the order comes, Acchino was already dead. So this is the story of God sees the truth but waits. So forgiveness is the best form of taking revenge. Forgiveness is the best form of revenge. Hope you understood the story. Now, I think that you might have read the story once at least. So let me ask you some questions. Who said these words to whom? And you have to give me the answer. If it is not, if you did not read so far, today itself you read it and find out the minor details from your textbook. Hope you will do it. Okay, students? Right. Well, friends, I only took the horse that was tied to a sledge. Who said these words? Marcus Simonis said to the convicts of the prison. Tell me, do you know anything about the merchant Actino of Vladimir? Actino asked to Marcus Simonich. Well, I must have deserved it. Who said? Actino told to Marcus Simonich when he asked why you have been imprisoned. Then, just you keep quiet, old man, and you shall get out too, Marcus Simonich said to Actino. Well, old man, tell me the truth. Who has been digging under the wall? That governor asked Actino. What more do you want of me? Why have you come here? Actino asked Marcus Simonich. Are you thorough with this story? Right. Now, let us proceed to the next lesson. Unit 2. A Nice Cup of Tea by George Orwell. So I wanted to tell you one or two sentences about this author. His name is, the name of this author is Eric Arthur Blair. He is a 20th century writer, a novelist, a critic, and essayist, journalist, and he was very popular for his allegoric novel, The Animal Farm. He has written a novel, Animal Farm, and 1984 is the name of another one novel written by him, and the Times has ranked him as the second person in the names of 50 greatest British writers since 1945. So from that we could understand that he is a very good writer, right? The title of the lesson is A Nice Cup of Tea. There is an idiom, a nice cup of tea. Do you know what is the meaning of that idiom, a nice cup of tea? See, reading is a nice cup of tea. Reading is a nice cup of tea for me. My nice cup of tea is gardening. So, it's a favorite thing, right? It's a favorite work that we does. So, reading books is a cup of tea for me. Right. So, a nice cup of tea, written by George Orwell. I told you Eric Arthur Blair is his full name, and he used this name George Orwell as a pen name. Only for writing purpose, he used this name George Orwell. He is a 20th century writer, and he is a very good writer. In the previous syllabus of this plus 2, that is just before 10 years, there was a lesson in that syllabus written by George Orwell. The title of that lesson is Bookshop Memories, where the author narrates his experience of working in a bookshop. In the bookshop, that is critically, sarcastically, He is criticizing the authors of today, readers of today, criticizing the people who are interested in reading books. And he said one lady comes, a bulky lady comes with a fashionable look, and she asked for a book with a red color with the picture on the back side. Without knowing the author, without knowing the title of the book, she is asking the book. And he just narrates his experiences, and here he tells about a nice cup of tea. Now, I hope that almost all of you might have drunk tea at least once in your life. Maybe nowadays some children doesn't like to drink tea, but at least once you might have tasted it. And here Orwell tells us a nice cup of tea. Not a cup of tea, a nice cup of tea. This tea is, see, when somebody comes to us, our home, some visitors or friends or relations comes to us, usually we just greeted them with a cup of tea, right? That is our civilization. That is our mark of civilization. We do it. And there are different types of teas: lemon tea, herbal tea, green tea, black tea, all these things, right? And how to prepare a cup of tea is being given by Orwell in this. What is the purpose of drinking tea? What is the purpose of drinking tea? To make you refresh yourself. When you feel bored, you wish to have a cup of tea to get relaxed. And when there is a break, you wish to have a cup of tea to get stimulated to do your future further works. So tea plays a very vital role in this society nowadays. Now, a nice cup of tea. Orwell gives us an account of preparing a nice cup of tea. If I ask you students, how will you prepare tea? See, in the previous levels there is a question describing a process. In the describing a process, they ask us to describe a process. There, most often, they ask a question, how will you prepare a cup of tea? And when the children writes the answer, we enjoy reading it because there are different types of making a cup of tea. How will you make lemon pickle? How will you make an omelette? How will you connect the cylinder, gas cylinder to the knob? All these types of questions they will be asking. So here, Orwell, see, when I ask you how will you make a cup of tea, you will say that we will take water and milk in a vessel. We will add one cup of milk, 1 cup of water, 2 teaspoons of tablespoons of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of tea dust, and we will just close the lid and boil it till it boils, and after that we will filter it, and the tea is ready. This is the answer given by most of the students when the describing the process was asked. Now here Orwell tells us how to make a nice cup of tea. So after learning this, after listening to this preparation of Orwell, you must tell your parents, mother especially, or the one who makes tea in your home, to prepare the tea in this manner, to have a very nice cup of tea, right? How this tea is, how do we get this tea? Do you know, children, in the hillsides, mountainous areas, tea is planted, and when people collect the tea leaves and they dry it for few days, after that it will be taken for processing purposes, and finally we get the tea dust. See, in Kodak, Ooty, we have a tea factory where you could see how the tea is being processed and distributed to the people. Right. Now take your textbook, children. In page number 34, a nice cup of tea written by George Orwell. Here are few varieties of tea. How many of these have you tasted? How many varieties have you tasted so far? Tick the boxes. Herbal tea, iced tea, lemon tea, green tea, black tea, tea with milk. You might have tasted, just tick it off. You would have seen lovely packets of tea on the shelves in supermarkets and shops. Have you ever wondered how tea powder is obtained from the plants? Have you ever wondered how do we get this tea powder? It is from the leaves we are getting. Look at the picture and describe the process. So when you get a chance to go to Ooty, just have a glance at this tea factory, right? Now read the following essay with which George Orwell highlights the distinctive features of preparing a nice cup of tea. Here he gives an account of how to prepare a nice cup of tea. Right. If you look up tea in the first cookery book that comes to hand, you will probably find that it is unmentioned, or at most you will find a few lines of sketchy instructions which give no ruling on several of the most important points. So if you just look at the tea recipe in the first cookery book, there is hardly one or two sentences you could see, and that too it is not clearing. It is not a rule at all. Not a detailed account of the preparation of tea is found in the early cookery books. Not a thorough idea is given in that book. So at the early stage, if you look up tea, for preparation of tea, you won't get much information there. This is curious not only because tea is one of the mainstays of civilization in this country. This is interesting, a little interesting preparation of tea, because tea is one of the mainstays of civilization in this country. In our country, even in England, tea is the mainstays of civilization. So we wanted to give the best. The best. Since we are civilized, we wanted to give the best. So it is a topic of interesting to everyone. As well as in Australia and New Zealand, air is Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, people use tea as a mark of civilization. When people comes, when visitors comes in functions, this tea plays an important role. But because the best manner of making it is the subject to violent disputes. But how to prepare tea is a matter, is a subject of violent dispute. It's a topic of controversies. Some people say that we have to prepare tea like this. Some other people say that we have to prepare tea like this. It is a matter of dispute. Some controversies. Difference of opinion. Understood, children? Next paragraph. When I look through my own recipe for the perfect cup of tea, I find no fewer than 11 outstanding points. So when I just look for how to prepare tea, when I thought of preparing tea, 11 important points come to my mind. I thought that these are the important points that we have to follow in the preparation of tea. And perhaps two of them there would be pretty general agreement. So for two ideas, 2 points, everyone will agree. But at least 4 others are acutely controversial. 4 points, there are difference of opinion, arguable things, disputable things are there in 4 points. Here are my own 11 rules, every one of which I regard as golden. So here I am giving you 11 golden points to prepare a nice cup of tea. Right? Now let us see what are the 11 tips he is giving us to prepare a nice cup of tea. First of all, one should use Indian or Ceylonese tea. China tea has virtues which are not to be despised nowadays. It is economical, and one can drink it without milk, but there is not much stimulation in it. One does not feel wiser, braver, or more optimistic after drinking it. Anyone who has used that comforting phrase, a nice cup of tea, invariably means Indian tea. So hope explanation is needed. Yes. The first point he says is we have to use Indian or Ceylonese tea. Ceylonese, Sri Lankan. Sri Lankan or Indian tea is the best tea that we have to use for the preparation of tea. And he gives an idea of Chinese tea. China tea has virtues. It also has some admirable qualities. China tea is also good and it is economical. The price of China tea is less compared to the Indian tea, and one can drink it without milk. Without milk it is easy to drink the China teas, but there is not much stimulation. He says the good qualities of China tea, but at the same time we won't get satisfied with the purpose of the tea. Why do we drink tea? To get some excitement, to get rid of our boredom, to get stimulation. That purpose will not get fulfilled in the China tea. One does not feel wiser, that is brisk, brave, or more optimistic, positive towards the work that you are doing maybe after drinking it. So you won't get that enthusiasm to continue your work after drinking the China tea. So he advised us to use Indian tea. So this first point, you people are following, I hope. So everyone uses only Indian tea. So he advised us to use Indian tea. Now the second point is, secondly, tea should be made in small quantities, that is in a teapot. Tea out of an urn is always tasteless, while army tea made in the cauldron tastes of grease and whitewash. The teapots should be made of china or earthenware. Silver or Britannia ware teapots produce inferior tea, and enamel pots are worse through, curiously enough, a pewter teapot is not so bad. So now the second one is, he says that tea must be made in small quantities. See, some people have the habit of preparing tea just like giving water to the cattle in cups and cups together, and they will be just drinking like cattle drinking water. That is, and Orwell says that if you make tea in large quantities, it won't be nice, it won't be tasty. And that too, you have to make it in a teapot. Tea which is made in an urn is always tasteless. What is urn? Urn is a small vase with a cover with a narrowed neck above the rounded body and a footed pedestal. See, you might have seen this urn where in olden days people used to keep the ashes of the dead bodies. That is urn. That is the actual meaning of the urn. Now this urn, that shape of vessels are available in our area, and he advised us not to use that urn. Because if you make tea in that urn, it will be tasteless. While army tea made in a cauldron, a very big pot used for boiling things, water or tea or whatever it is, milk. If you make tea in cauldron, the taste of grease or whitewash will come. So that is also not preferable. The teapot should be made of china or earthenware. So Orwell advises us to make tea in small quantities in earthen pots. How many of us are using earthenware for the preparation of tea in our home? So Orwell says if you want to get a nice cup of tea, You have to use earthenware. Silver or Britannia ware teapots produce inferior tea and enamel pots are worse. So silver you know, and Britannia ware, it is silvery in appearance, which has a smooth surface, which is made of tin, copper, antimony, all these things. It is also inferior in quality. And enamel pots that we are getting nowadays, very fashionable. We feel that it is a fashionable thing to have this enamel pots in our home. He says it is worse. Preparing tea in the enamel pots is worse. Though curiously enough, the pewter teapot, that is not so bad. Pewter teapot is a grey alloy of tin, copper and antimony. It is better than that, he says. So his preference is to prepare tea in the earthen pots, earthenware. So first one is use Indian tea. Second one is make a earthenware to prepare tea in small quantities, not in plenty. Third point, thirdly, the pot should be warmed beforehand. This is better done by placing it on the hob than by the usual method of swilling it out with hot water. I don't know how many of your parents or your mother or how many of you are preparing tea like this. I do not know. The pot should be warmed beforehand. We will just directly take the pot, pour milk, water, tea dust, sugar, everything there and boil it. That is the easiest way also for us to prepare tea. We are not at all bothered whether the tea is tasty or not. So he says, thirdly, you have to warm the pot before the tea is prepared. This is better done by placing it on a hob. Hob is that cooking stove, at the top of the cooking stove. So keep the vessel on the stove and warm it than by usual method of swilling it out with hot water. Usually what we does is we will just rinse the vessel with hot water. It is not advisable. You just keep it in the stove and warm the pot before making tea. Hope you understand the first 3 points. What are the 3 things that he is advising us? Use Indian tea. Second one is make in small quantities in earthenware. The third step is the pot should be warmed beforehand. Hope you understand it. Read it once and read the non-detailed that lesson also, God sees the truth, and prepare your lessons. We will meet you in the next class. Till then, bye children.